Michaels, who recently took that trip out to the west to go into these snow labs where they analyze this very data, Justin.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mark, it's not looking good as far as the experts I talked to. So the snowpack in the Sierra Nevada mountains is not anywhere nearly deep enough to eventually melt and then fill up those reservoirs, according to the California Department of Water Resources. But there is a snow laboratory. It's called the Central Sierra Snow Laboratory, smack dab in the middle of the High Sierra, and it's studying the trends there on the West Coast. It's occupied by a man on a mission to tackle the Western water crisis. And he's just the latest caretaker of this research that has been now going on for decades.
This is where we actually do our measurements of new snowfall depth and the amount of water in that new snow.
Since 1946, the Central Sierra Snow Lab has stood strong, much of the year under a blanket of snow at just shy of 7,000 feet in elevation in California's Sierra Nevada mountains. Dr. Andrew Schwartz is the lab's current researcher and resident. December of 2021 saw 214 inches of snow at the lab, crushing the previous December snowfall record set in 1970 of 179 inches.
With our record-breaking December, I lost the board at some point.
Data taken from this snowboard and all this other equipment is designed to better understand water, or the lack thereof, in the western United States. Originally built by the Army Corps of Engineers and the U.S. Weather Bureau, it is currently run by the University of California at Berkeley.
So far, we've got about 280 inches up here.
Well below the annual average of more than 400 inches of snow. And after that record-setting December, precipitation has flatlined. There was a record streak of 37 days with no precipitation and very little since, making this winter one of the driest in 52 years.
Having the longest streak going all the way back to 1970 without precipitation is very concerning, because this is the time when we do get all of our water.
Right now, there's a 6-foot snowpack here at the Central Sierra Snow Lab, but that's nothing compared to years past. Now, 6 foot means we have to go through the second floor door, and that is the main door. But back in March of 2011, they had a 19-foot snowpack, meaning that upstairs window, a third story, was the only way in and out of this snow lab. And it is inside of this snow lab we find a treasure trove of information. Down a cobweb-lined, rickety old staircase, we find filing cabinets stuffed with handwritten records, files, pictures.
Records that go all the way back to not just the lab's inception, but even the 30s or the 20s, dealing with all kinds of various work up here. You know, some of these are really cool and are the exact same records that we take today. You know, this is the 8 a.m. measurement on September 30th in 1966.
Data recorded over the decades points to a climate change-induced, rapidly declining snowpack in the Sierra Nevada.
We have signals of climate change in everything that we have up here. We have strong warming in our minimum and maximum daily temperatures. We are seeing more rain and less snow. But with that being said, we do have variability in the climate from year to year. At the end of the day, this is our drinking water. This is our agricultural water. You know, if you turn on the faucet, this is where a lot of that water comes from. And so that's why it's so important that we continue this research and really understand what's going on with it.
So right now, Dr. Schwartz is in the process of organizing and eventually digitizing all that data so scientists globally can use it to help better understand climate issues internationally. After all, our environment doesn't abide by borders like we do, and the weather impacting the western U.S. does have larger impacts everywhere, guys.
Justin, the amount of technology at that lab is really astounding. It's much more advanced than just like stick a ruler in and find out how much snow. What stood out to you? What'd you bring home with you that you're not going to forget about?
Well, there's this one gauge. Well, first of all, there is just a stick sticking out of the ground.
That's important too.
Okay, so there's the snow pole on the snowboard, but there's this one piece of equipment that's pretty amazing, that it can actually sense the different types of precipitation coming into it and measure the water out of those different types of precipitation. So there's water, obviously rain, but then snow, sleet, different things that are coming down, and that one piece of equipment can parse all that data out, spit it out, and create a report. It's pretty amazing, the technology up there.
Absolutely. Incredible stuff. Justin, thanks so much for sharing. Well, we've got much more Weather Underground coming back, including taking you back